Hi, I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. I was born in early February, which makes me an Aquarius, or possibly an asparagus. Supposedly, the date on which I was born influences every aspect of my personality and my life. If that's true, I would like to have a serious word with whoever's in charge of organizing that because I have a number of complaints. Astrology is a pseudoscience that claims to be able to divine knowledge about people and events from the movements of planets. It's got an unfortunate name because it has the same ology suffix as geology and biology and meteorology, which are all legitimate sciences. The real study of planets and other astronomical objects is called astronomy, and it was one of my gateway sciences as a kid. For millennia, humans all over the world have been looking at the night sky and trying to derive meaning from the specks of light they saw. Initially, it was a rudimentary agricultural calendar. When a particular collection of stars turned up at dusk, it was time to start planting your crops. From there, many different flavors developed in various cultures, none of which added anything concrete. They coasted along for millennia, gradually evolving, but not getting anywhere close to anything useful, right up to the dawn of the Age of Reason. That's when emerging scientific thought demonstrated that the motions of the planets had absolutely nothing to do with anything. It didn't die off easily, though. Early European astronomers would cast horoscopes for rich patrons, because even then it was really hard to get funding for your research. Even today, in this allegedly rational age, a quarter of adults will admit to some belief in it, and newspapers will carry horoscope columns written by people who are earning a decent living at it, while I, with my science degree, can't get employers to give me the time of day. I won't get into the mechanics of how modern Western astrology is supposed to work, because astrologers can't agree on it. Ask 10 different astrologers what it is they understand about the mechanism of astrological divination, and you'll get 12 different answers, 6 of which will be gibberish. Whenever an objection is raised on scientific grounds, that objection is declared not to matter because reasons. However, those reasons will usually invalidate 1 or 2 other astrological concepts, which strongly implies they're just making it up as they go. For example, the Earth's axis is slowly swinging over time, a motion called precession. I'll put a link to a more detailed explanation in the description because it's really hard to do without diagrams or illustrations. What this means is that the entire band of zodiac constellations appears to shift relative to the date of Northern Hemisphere spring, which means that after a while, they won't line up with their traditional months. No worries, because none of that apparently matters. Astrologers claim, well, some of them claim, remember, none of them can agree on anything. Astrologers claim that they aren't really referencing the real constellations, just imaginary empty boxes in the sky that move along as a planet precesses. That's great, except it screws up their notion of the age of Aquarius, which is defined by the date of the Northern Hemisphere spring equinox, precessing into the constellation of Aquarius. This is setting aside the point that nobody has any idea when that's actually supposed to happen, or if it's already happened, or what it's supposed to mean. None of this makes any sense. There's also the inverse square law to consider. It describes, among many other things, the gravitational influence that 2 bodies in space have on each other. If you double the distance between them, then the gravitational force between them ends up being 1/4 of what it was before. 2 squared is 4, so the inverse of that is 1/4. It's a math thing. The important point here is, the further away something is, the less influence it has. I'm using gravity as a stand-in for whatever impact the planets are supposed to have in your life. Jupiter and Saturn are ridiculously far away, and the distance changes as we and they orbit the Sun. By all rights, those 2 planets should have insignificant influences compared to the Moon, which is right in our backyard. Even further out are Uranus and Neptune, which can't be seen by the naked eye and weren't included in ancient astrology. Modern astrology, while it acknowledges those 2 planets, has failed to account for Pluto's demotion from planet status, and the effect of all the other trans-Newtonian objects out by Pluto, or the thousands of asteroids in the inner solar system. It's almost like they don't know any real science at all. That's astrology, It's a pseudoscience that bears absolutely no resemblance to proper astronomy, and is disturbingly persistent. It can't predict your future, and its horoscopes are nothing more than vague platitudes that could apply to just about anybody. Chinese astrology is equally as incoherent as the Western variety, and the same is true for everybody else as well. It's not a form of ancient wisdom either. If it was, we'd still be using it in STEM fields alongside other ancient wisdom, like Pythagoras' theorem or the lever. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.